What's good, y'all? Listen, we got a long video today, guys. We got a long fucking video, guys. A long video. Let's get into it though, because there's a lot I gotta say. It's a lot I want to express. But first, before I start off, what is vibration? What is frequency? What the fuck do I actually mean? Because a lot of us talk about it, right? But what the fuck is it actually in layman's terms? So, electric body, electric health. I'm gonna start off with a piece of the book. I'm gonna put up a picture so y'all can see, right? It says, like fish in water, we are swimming in at all times in vast ocean of energy. Look around you, everything is energy. Everything you see is a part of the electromagnetic spectrum. Not only light bulbs and computers and phones, but planets, animals, stars, and entire galaxies is all electrical. The page you're reading, the chair you're sitting on, the ground beneath your feet, the planet you live on, the sun that heats the planet are ultimately just electromagnetic energy vibrating at different frequencies. In other words, electricity. It's all energy, frequency, and vibration. Every single thing in our observable universe is in a constant motion on an atomic or subatomic level, even things like rocks that appear motionless. As the greatest physicist Richard says, everything jiggles, or as I put it, everything jitterbugs. Thanks to the exchange of positive and negative forces that gives the rise of this to this dance of energy. You feel what I'm saying? And yeah, it's just like everything is energy. But what do that actually mean? Now, before I get into that and before I get into something what we call resonance, when it comes to energy, I'm gonna start off with this quote by Albert Einstein. Everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Master the frequency of the reality you want. You cannot help but to get that reality. It could be no other way. This is not philosophy. This is physics. Physics, right? Vibration. Nothing rests. Everything moves. Everything vibrates at the most fundamental level. The universe and everything which comprises it is pure vibratory energy manifesting itself in different ways. The universe has no solidity as such. Matter is merely energy in a state of vibration. So everything vibrates, and I'm going to prove this because it's one thing to say it, but it's like, what the fuck do that actually mean? How the fuck do everything vibrate? Because motherfuckers always got some shit to say, right? I'm about to prove that everything vibrates, y'all. I'm about to prove. So we know at our base ones, like we said, everything is simply atoms and particles. Everything you see is a part of you, simply atoms and particles. You hear me? That's a part of my poem. And so, what the fuck do that actually mean? Or how is it that things that look like solids actually are not solid and actually vibrate? Because it's different stages, right? It's different stages to it, right? Now, obviously, you got the three phases of matter: gas, solids, and liquids, right? But that's matter. Now we're talking about physics and we're talking about different things. Now let's get into how everything vibrates. Now this is a light bulb. Now as you can see, it's even a light right here, y'all. And as you can see, the light is not flickering or anything. It's just like a pure light. It's just illuminating the room or whatever the case is. And you see it as a light just being a light. You know, a light just being turned on. Now this is a LED light in slow motion, y'all. Let's look at it. Let's look at it. This is the light in slow motion. As you can see, the light in slow motion is vibrating. You hear me? It's flickering. But our naked eye doesn't catch this. It's because it's at a frequency our naked eye can't catch. So we gotta ask ourselves, what other frequencies can't our naked eye catch? Right? And just like you gotta think about Bluetooth, y'all. What is Bluetooth? Bluetooth is when frequencies literally connect to each other. Think about it. What the fuck is Bluetooth? What the fuck is Wi-Fi? How can something connect and is not literally existent? That's because it's traveling through what you would call sound or light. You feel what I'm saying? Just because you don't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Just like the light, just because you don't see it flickering don't mean it's not flickering. You hear me, y'all? And it get deep. There's levels to it. There's levels to it. But we're gonna start at what we know. But yeah. So like I said, it's all energy, frequency, and vibration. Every single thing in the observable universe is in constant motion on an atomic or subatomic level. Even things like rocks that appear motionless. Everything is energy. Everything you see is a part of the electromagnetic spectrum. Okay, that's it. That's all it is. That's literally all it is. Now, what we're gonna do is now we're gonna look at what the fuck is this? Now we're gonna look at how energies interact with each other, right? How energies and frequencies can coexist with one another, right? Now we're going to look at Bruce Lipton and biology of belief lecture. We're going to look at a little part of it.
Constructive interference is called good vibes, and destructive interference, bad for life. Constructive interference is
This is two terms that I want us to remember: constructive interference and destructive interference.
called good vibes.
Constructive
And
interference is called good vibes.
destructive interference, bad vibes.
Destructive interference, bad vibes. Okay. Now we're gonna go back to the book. There's no such thing as a noun when we get down to it, because everything is actually a process. Interestingly, the Hopti language doesn't contain any nouns, and it better reflects the essential fluidity of the world around us. When vibrations come together, they start to sync up and resonate at the same frequency in a kind of spontaneous self-organization, which is described in physics as sympathetic resonance. Right now, resonance and interference is kind of really the same thing. This resonance may also form the basis of what we call consciousness or intelligence, which science is increasingly revealing to be a fundamental property of energy, therefore all matter. Okay, so this is what we're about to get into, y'all. And it's just like it's just it's so interesting, right? Because like I said, basically, Wi-Fi and connections is what we call resonance. They start to sync up and resonate at the same frequency. Just like when you have somebody's number, right? You start to sync up and resonate at the same frequency. When you think about somebody, you start to sync up and resonate at the same frequency. You think about somebody and they call you, start to sync up and resonate at the same fucking frequency. What the fuck is an aura field? We all have biofields, which is what they call our aura. And our aura can extend to over, they say, 3 fucking miles. It could extend from 6 feet to 3 fucking miles. I'm pretty sure bigger than that, right? So when you think about somebody and they call you, what is this doing? It's resonance, y'all. Just think about it, y'all. Just think about it. Hold on.
Have you ever wondered how your laptop connects to the internet wirelessly? Or how does your smartphone effortlessly stream videos without any cable?
So real quick, are we going to look at the magic behind wireless connectivity?
It's all thanks to a technology we commonly call Wi-Fi. But how does it actually work?
Come on, nigga.
Let's break it down. Wi-Fi, short for wireless fidelity, operates using radio waves. These waves are transmitted through the air, allowing devices like laptops,
radio waves, frequencies,
smartphones, and smart TVs to connect to the internet without needing physical cables. At the heart of Wi-Fi is a device known as a router. Think of the router as the central hub that wirelessly distributes internet connection to your devices. It converts data from your internet service provider into radio signals. When you send a request, such as loading a web page or streaming a video, your device breaks down the information into small packets. These packets are then transmitted as radio signals by the router. Each device within the range of the router receives these signals. The device then decodes
frequencies, aka resonance,
the signals back into data packets, allowing you to access the requested information. Wi-Fi operates on different frequencies within the radio wave spectrum. The most common frequencies are 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz. These frequencies determine the speed and range of your wireless connection. But what do these frequencies mean? Frequency refers to the number of cycles per second in a wave.
The number of cycles per second in a wave.
In the case of Wi-Fi, it's measured in gigahertz, which means billions of cycles per second. So when we say 2.4 gigahertz, it means the wave oscillates at a frequency of 2.4 billion cycles per second. To calculate the frequency, we use the formula speed of light divided by wavelength. In simpler terms, the frequency is inversely proportional to the wavelength, meaning higher frequencies have shorter wavelengths.
So does frequency travel through the speed of light, y'all? That's
calculate the frequency, we use the formula speed of light divided by wavelength. In simpler terms, the frequency is inversely proportional to the wavelength, meaning higher frequencies have shorter wavelengths. Devices using the 2.4 gigahertz frequency typically have a longer range but may experience more interference from other devices like microwaves and cordless phones. On the other hand, the 5 gigahertz frequency offers faster speeds, but with a shorter range. Yes, Wi-Fi signals can face interference from other electronic devices operating on similar frequencies, such as microwave ovens or cordless phones. This interference can degrade the quality of your Wi-Fi connection. To ensure the security of your Wi-Fi network, routers use encryption methods such as WPA2 or WPA3. These encryption methods protect your data from unauthorized access by encrypting it before transmission and decrypting it upon reception. So the next time you're browsing the web from your favorite coffee shop or streaming your favorite show at home, remember that it's all made possible by the magic of Wi-Fi. And that, my friends, is how Wi-Fi works.
Frequency, y'all. Frequency. And it's in front of us, but they ain't never really exposed us to it. Like, what exactly does that mean? How does frequencies work, and how we can manipulate frequencies and bring the life we want about, right? Now, this is not by any means just kind of magic and you know this shit in your life just all of a sudden is going to change for the better. No, you got to maintain a state of frequency, a state of vibration, because often what the thing is that we return to baseline when we come to a lot of frequencies. We return to baseline when it comes to a lot of emotions. And emotions is energy in motion, right? And you know, you think predicated upon how you feel. So if you sad, mad, angry, you think differently predicated upon those emotions. So when different energies is in motion, you're emitting different frequencies, y'all. And it's just like a lot of the times we return to a baseline of emotions or frequencies that is familiar to us. You know, our body is literally like familiarity. Yeah, you know what the fuck I'm saying, motherfucker. So yeah, let me finish reading this book though. This page. For many years in my sound therapy practice, I was treating people's physical and mental problems by working in their energy fields, also known as biofield. My skeptical, ever-curious mind led me to a deep and long-running investigation of what the heck I was working with. What was clear was that when we refer to this invisible substance called energy in the context of energy medicine, we are speaking of electromagnetic energy as opposed to other kinds of energy, kinetic, thermal, chemical, and so on. So it's different kinds of energy, right? So what is electromagnetism? Simply put, it's the movement of charged electric particles in the magnetic fields that are generated from that electric charge. In other words, it's a spectrum of visible and invisible light, or put another way, sound, but we'll get back to that. Okay, but we already know that electricity is what? The flow of electrons. But let's see. Let's keep on looking at destructive and constructive interference.
So,
AKA fucking vibes.
It's
so if y'all also didn't know, vibes is short for vibrations. Okay, so it's like our language. We're using spiritual concepts and spiritual. It's like we're using that spiritual tongue, right? Spiritual linguistics. So it's like we're using that and we're not even aware of it. Vibe is short for vibration. I wasn't feeling a vibe. I wasn't feeling the vibration. I wasn't feeling the energy. It was constructive or destructive interference, y'all. Let's get into
Saturday night, and you have to go to a party, and you're tired, and you go to the party, and you meet some people who are in wave harmony. The waves are in harmony with you, and your energy and their energy in phase gives you more power. And then you are walking around on your feet, on your toes, very high, constructive interference. Bad vibes. You are in a scary place, and you feel the energy go. What is going on is there's energy in the field that conflicts with you, and it cancels your energy. Bad vibes. All animals and all plants communicate with vibration. The gazelle doesn't have to go up to the lion and say, "Are you my friend?" Because at the distance, the energy...
What did they say? Vibrations. Everything emits a frequency. Everything vibrates. Even the solid, even his jacket, my face, everything is vibrating. Every fucking thing. And we proved that with the light bulb shit.
Could be felt, and the gazelle will not go there because of bad vibes. If we were, when we were young, were taught to be sensitive to the vibrations, we would not find ourselves in bad relationships and bad places. But we are usually told not to go by our feelings, but to listen to what people have to say. One night at 3 o'clock in the morning, I was watching
Listen, a mouth can manipulate you. Vibes can't manipulate you. A mouth, words can manipulate you. Vibes cannot manipulate you. A vibe can't manipulate you, motherfucker. If a weird vibe, it's a weird vibe. That's it. You can't get manipulated by that. If you feel a weird vibe, it's no manipulation. You either trust the vibe, you either listen to it or you don't. You follow through with the vibe or you don't. That's it. Words manipulate you because what you utter with your mouth, your actions must prove. And a lot of people utter things their actions don't prove. And there are other things based on intent. Like I talked about before, y'all. It's not about what we do. It's about why we do it. So it's intent. Intention. Come on.
Movie on TV. It's a British movie, so it was very dry. And I was going to go shut it off. And the one line came out that was worth staying up all night for. Language was designed to hide feelings. So the point is, all organisms communicate by vibrations and know if they're in a good place or a bad place by reading the vibrations. But we humans have that ability, but are not trained to use that ability. But I will show you in a little while how vibrations change the proteins of the body. And the proteins give us our structure and our function. So the vibrations can alter our health and our biology. This is a picture of a gold atom. And while you can see it in the electron microscope, if I give you a camera to fly through the atom and take pictures from one side to the other side, when you come back and develop the pictures, there will be nothing on the pictures. And the reason is this is the atom that Greg said, this is the atom we studied in school. I studied and taught this atom in school. And this is a picture of the quantum atom. So the relevance is, why, if an atom is invisible, I cannot put my hand through the table? Well, this is a picture of a tornado. And I say, drive your car 150 kilometers per hour straight here. Will the car go through the tornado, yes or no? It would be like hitting a stone wall. The car will be smashed by hitting the tornado. And yet you can see the tornado, so you say it's physical. But if you take the dirt and the dust out, and you then drive across the field at 150 kilometers per hour right here, it would be like a clear day, and then you would hit like a stone wall. And the reason is that there's a force field, and you can't go through that force. And atoms are miniature tornadoes. So when we talk about the atom in a textbook, we have the nucleus and the electrons in shells. The protons are positive and the electrons are negative. And every atom has an equal number of protons and electrons. So every atom is neutral. However, the electrons are not equally distributed. So that on this side of the atom, it's more negative, and this side more positive. So if I take a voltmeter and read here is negative, if I take the voltmeter and read here is positive. But instead of moving the voltmeter from negative and then move it here as positive, all atoms are spinning all the time. So as this atom is spinning, then I put a voltmeter, and one side red is positive and negative, red and blue. So you are watching the waves of positive and negative, and I record them. And then when you look at the character of the atom, you see the character is a wave. So atoms are in physics. In today's physics, they study the electrical activity of atoms. When you and I went to school, we studied the physical character of the atom, the mass and the weight. And today, physics studies the vibration, not the physical. To school, we studied the physical character of the atom,
we studied the physical character of
mass
the
and
atom,
the weight.
The mass and the weight.
And today, physics studies the vibration, not the physical.
The vibration, not the physical.
So that
everything is spiritual before it's physical, y'all. If we're simply atoms and particles, why the fuck are we not studying the fucking frequencies and the vibrations of atoms, and we're only focused on the physical, y'all? Why the fuck did they teach us that in school? Why are we just learning physics, basic physics, if you even learn that? Why are we not talking about quantum physics and metaphysics beyond the physical?
All atoms create waves. So the picture of the atom is like the waves with the atom in the center. So when we want to study atoms, when you use Newtonian physics, you study two particles hitting each other like billiard balls. But in quantum physics, we don't study the particles, because in quantum physics, we study the waves. And we study how the waves interact, interference. So there's constructive and destructive interference between atoms.
How waves interact between a wave, constructive or destructive interference. We were just talking about that.
All of the waves
AKA bad vibes or good vibes.
together is called the field. So
The
you're
field, biofield, that's interesting. Okay.
made out of atoms, but you also are the field. So you are connected to everything, because you can't.
That's why everything is us, and we are everything. Because if at our base forms we're atoms and particles, everything has a field, and we're connected to this massive field of just atoms and particles. Nigga, you are me and I am you, because we're fucking atoms and particles, motherfucker. We're not just physical bodies, deeper than just the physical. Like he said, we studied the physical in school, but we gotta really study the frequency.
Separate waves. This is a new technology showing you pictures of atoms and electrons. And a scientist can manipulate and make a corral out of the atoms. And trapped in this corral are two electrons. And you can see the waves in the electron microscope picture from the atoms. These are the waves. And then you can see where the waves of one atom and the waves of the other atom interact in interference. So the new physics says, don't look for particles, talk about the field and the waves.
The field and the waves frequency.
This is from Scientific American, but it's not the title I'm interested in. It's a subtitle. And the relevance is this. Are you made out of atoms and molecules, yes or no? Because
Yes.
if you are, then you are giving off light and energy, and you are absorbing light and energy. So while you see yourself as a physical entity, in the new physics, you are energy waves interacting with each other in the room right now.
You are energy waves interacting with each other in the room right now. Even though we don't interact with a motherfucker, it's called vibes. You emit a frequency and you take on frequencies. You observe and you absorb. You hear me?
In the old days, this was the only color picture in my chemistry textbook. And it's the spectrum of emission for each element in the periodic table. There are different frequencies for each atom. What's interesting is in medicine, we don't study energy. The reason is the drug companies sell chemicals, they don't sell energy.
Drug companies sell chemicals, they don't sell energy. Ooh, wee.
So interesting is that every element has its own vibrational frequency. And the newest technology in medicine was designed by physicists. CAT scan, MRI, sonogram. And what's interesting is the physicists designed the machine, and what you're reading are the vibrations of the cells in the tissues, and the specific vibrations can tell you if the cells are in health or disease. But medical doctors don't understand the nature of energy. So they will use this as a map to find where a cancer is, and then use a scalpel and cut out the cancer. But remember, all atoms give off energy, and all atoms absorb energy. And when two energies interfere, you can change the power from zero, from destructive, to increase the power, constructive interference. So instead of using a scalpel to cut out a cancer, you should be able to put energy into this cancer and cause the cancer to go away.
Ooh.
And this is the...
Ooh, what? Ooh, he just talking about how to remove cancer. Ooh, huh?
physical foundation for hands-on healing for thousands of years. This is a simple experiment I did at my home for cheap.
Watch a little bit more.
I took a piece of iron and a file and filed it and made iron dust. And I put the iron filings in a salt shaker and sprinkled them on the paper. Every time I sprinkle it, I get a random pile. So if I throw this away and do it again, I get a random pile. But the next experiment, more expensive, I buy a magnet. Now I sprinkle the filings, and what do I get? I get the magnetic field shaped by the filings. And the significance is very important. The filings without the magnetic field are random, but when I put the field in, the field shapes matter. And the significance is by Albert Einstein. I'll make a quote from Albert Einstein. The field is the sole governing agency of the particle. And so that the energy in visible fields shape matter. Can you explain the pattern of the iron filings if you do not understand the field? Yes or no? No. Can you understand the pattern of my cells in health and disease if you don't understand the field? So this is why medicine has failed, because it wants to understand the structure of health and disease, but does not include the field in its understanding. And so the field is the sole governing agency of matter. Particles are matter.
We're going to stop it right there. We're going to stop right there. He said a lot. Hey, we're going to come back to this. Man, listen. The fucking genius. We're going to come back to brother, man. So, now, sound levitation, right, y'all? Because if we could prove that frequencies and energies are real, what about levitation? What about things such as that? Let's take a look. Ancient technology. Look at that. Using sound. Straight sound. Straight sound. Straight sound. Straight sound, you heard. Let's go to the next one. This is what happens when you vibrate salt at high frequencies. You see a change in frequencies, y'all. It changes predicated upon the frequency. If motherfuckers talking about energy not real, this, that, and this. Explain this. Explain it. Explain it. Explain it. Now, salt changes patterns based on frequencies, y'all. They call it cymatics. It's a study of visible sound. Sound waves create vibrations on the surface, forcing the salt to dance and jump. Okay? So sound and frequency, everything is real. Okay? Now, just imagine music. If this could happen to salt, imagine what music could do to your brain, y'all. That's a whole different discussion. That's a whole different discussion. Hold on, let me see. I'm on 12%.
According to these specific numbers,
we got the live video.
There's a hidden communication code of the type known and used in ancient Egypt, where specific geometric forms are like antennas that connect with and resonate with different planes of nature. And even if you know nothing about biogeometry, if you simply design forms according to these specific numbers and combinations, they will automatically give you beneficial BG3 energy qualities. But to understand how this works requires us to change our frame of reference to where the living vibrational world around us is in constant dynamic interaction with us, based on how we form the world around us.
Remember, we're the field, okay? And we're interacting with other vibrations and frequencies. I'm gonna have to skip ahead, y'all.
Biogeometry is the science of energy balancing. We often refer to it as nature's own design language of shape, sound, color, motion, angle, proportion. All the way that nature creates vibrational and energetic effects are things that are studied and applied in biogeometry. It's also based on the principles of resonance. And resonance is when things of a
Didn't we just talk about that shit? We just talked about this shit. I'll make sure my laptop.
Similar vibrational quality can exchange energy and information, and the principle of harmonics, where this vibrational exchange takes place at all levels, at all planes of existence, all dimensions. Now, one of the remarkable things inside biogeometry is that it has practical methods for us to directly detect specific vibrational qualities, differentiate them one from another, and to apply them or transform them for practical purposes. Dr. Karim has also succeeded in identifying a specific vibrational quality not discovered by the French. That is the vibrational quality that balances all living energy systems. This is an energy that Dr. Karim has coined the Biogeometry 3 or the BG3 because it has three specific components, but they come as one totality. So sometimes Dr. Karim will refer to this as the one energy quality. But it's like the mystery of the Trinity, where the three is one and the one is three. But Dr. Karim's original research was able in 19...
Online on Mac immerses you in a universe with
1933, something very important happened. At that time, a particular researcher named André de Belazal, along with his co-worker Leon Chameray, were able to isolate a specific range of vibrational qualities that became a type of vibrational spectrum. They built on the work of earlier pioneers like
electromagnetism.
Louis Turin, a radio engineer in France. But this individual that you see in these pictures, de Belazal, was able to finish the spectrum. So just as we have today an electromagnetic spectrum that allows us to create electromagnetic technologies, so at that time, in 1933, they completed this understanding of the range of vibrational energies that are too subtle to be picked up by electromagnetic detection equipment. However, these subtle energies were known to the ancient spiritual traditions who practically applied these energies. And these particular energies do affect living beings, all biological life, in a profound manner. Although, again, simple electromagnetic detection equipment will not detect their presence. They split the spectrum up into 12 different parts, and they completed the spectrum when they identified a penetrating carrier wave of energy that they referred to under the somewhat confusing name of negative green. Without going into detail as to why they called it negative green, we'll simply say it's a very strong penetrating carrier wave that can be emitted by specific geometric forms. And this particular carrier wave of energy was found by the French researchers to be capable of penetrating thicknesses of lead that cannot be penetrated by X-rays. So with the research that they did, you can see de Belazal in front of an array of hemispheres pointing in a particular direction. They could actually manifest and amplify, sometimes to a dangerous extent, this particular vibration through these types of methods. You'll also see an illustration of a hemisphere and pyramid form. They found that these forms actually emit this penetrating carrier wave from their base. And so both the dome and the pyramid have specific applications for energy purposes because they are what Dr. Karim refers to as polarized geometric energy emitters. In other words, they send a wave of energy in a specific direction. And that
everything is energy. You know, we got to look at it from the lens of our ancestors, y'all. So we had to do it. Ancient Kemetic
energy can be engineered for specific purposes. But the main thing to take away from this slide is that in 1933 they were able to complete this spectrum of all the vibrational energies that affect living beings that are not known to modern science, but that were known to the great classical traditions of the world. In fact, as you see in this particular chart by Kerner Skaryatin, the Russian who lived in Egypt and used the French methods of vibrational research that they called radiesthesia, they were able to isolate with the 12 bands of energy that they detected in the spectrum exactly what types of vibrations came from what types of forms and were also present in what types of illness and disease microorganisms. This also meant that they could isolate the specific type of subtle vibration that could neutralize the energy coming from these disease microorganisms.
Bro, literally, Dr. Lipton was just talking about that. Instead of cutting out the cancer, you could use energy to heal that energy. It's the same shit.
Vibration that could neutralize the energy coming from these disease microorganisms.
He'll get some vibration that can neutralize
The specific vibrations can tell you if the cells are in health or disease. But medical doctors don't understand the nature of energy. So they will use this as a map to find where a cancer is. And then use a scalpel and cut out the cancer. But remember, all atoms give off energy and all atoms absorb energy. And when two energies interfere, you can change the power from zero, from destructive, to increase the power, constructive interference. So instead of using a scalpel to cut out a cancer, you should be able to put energy into this cancer and cause the cancer to go away.
Same shit he just said.
This is very precise type of knowledge. They may refer to these things in the different vibrational qualities under the names of colors. But it's
the only question is how. How do we do that? You gotta really study this.
Simply a color. Color is one way that these vibrations manifest in what Dr. Karim refers to as scales of quality. So the complete vibrational spectrum, creating all the possible effects on living beings, will appear in the scale of
electromagnetic spectrum
of color, but also in the scale of sound, also in the scale of motion and angle and shape and proportion. They are all qualitative scales that create very specific energetic effects. These three vibrational qualities that Dr. Karim identified can be...
It's a lot that was said today, y'all. I want to know y'all thoughts down below. It's a very long video, but I just want to end with something, y'all. End with this page of the book, okay? So it says, but. All right, hold on. I'm gonna go back here. It says electricity is the flow of electrons along a wire. According to some perspective, electrons don't exist at all. Another perspective points out that these alleged electrons actually don't even move through a wire in a closed alternating current circuit. They stay in one place and jiggle back and forth while the electric force bidirectionally in a field moves bidirectionally in the field around the wire. I have come to understand that this simple omission in the field of this simple omission of the field aspect of electric current is a big part of the problem with understanding it, as well as understanding the field of energy that moves around our own body. But there are other problems as well. For one thing, electricity isn't just confined to flowing the wires that powers our phones and computers and other modern technology. It is actually everywhere around us and present in many things that we often don't realize, such as the air, the sun, the solar wind, the light in the ground, the ground under our feet, the bacteria in our guts, and actually our entire bodies, as we will see. Another omission in our understanding of electricity comes from the idea that electromagnetic waves will not require a medium to propagate through. Light, we are told, travels through the empty spectrum of space. But this is not always believed to be the case. Early explorers of electricity, including Nikola Tesla, understood electricity or light as the movement of energy through the ether, the all-pervasive luminiferous ocean of clear light that these waves travel through. I have come to see that it is the removal of this unified field of pure potential, which we will explore in greater depth, that seems to be a big source of confusion around the nature of electricity and omnipresence in our natural environment, y'all. Imagine trying to understand waves in the ocean without acknowledging that Imagine trying to understand waves in the ocean without acknowledging the water that the waves are moving through. In our exploration of electricity, we are going to bring two new states of matter into the equation: plasma and ether, which will help us get a better understanding of the nature of our bodies, minds, and the world around us, ultimately lead to a greater sense of literal empowerment. What we call voltage is the force that makes electric currents move, also called the electromotive force. The higher the voltage, the stronger the current. In your body, stronger voltage means more energy running through your wires and a brighter inner light. When the amount of voltage flowing through your system drops, we have less energy available to power all the processes in the body. Disease and loss of fertility are the eventual results of a low voltage state. So, y'all, I just want to end off with that. As far as us having voltage in our body, we already know that we're electrical beings, but I want to do a deep video about that, because everything is deep and everything is just as the surface appears, y'all. And this is the things we have to question, because the more we know about ourselves is the more we could use ourselves to our advantage. The more we know that we're atoms and particles, everything is simply atoms and particles. Okay? Let me pull up my poem, y'all. Y'all ready? I said, blessings of your past, now you have to take these blessings. Curses in the present, please be aware of these threatens. Reflections everywhere, please be aware of your reflections. Generational trauma, please make sure you learn from past lessons. Meditations work on self, you have to do meditations. Sound healing candles, please make sure you connect to these elements. Feminine and masculine, this is your essence. Become spiritually inclined, don't chase anything, attract anything, you're destined. Open up your mind, you don't take L's, those was lessons. Begin your journey with self-tap in, don't do no more stressing. Everything you see is a part of you, simply atoms and particles. Make sure you tap in with nature too, even the animals are sorry to you. Yes, of course, even the trees could talk to you. You have to be open, don't be a fool. Let it be known you're powerful. Everything you experience is made for you. Walk into your greatness, unlock your DNA. The more you explore your inner, the more your outer will be okay. Because they know where you come from, they'll try to destroy your DNA. But if you tap into these elements, you'll be okay, y'all. Come on now. I love y'all. It's a lot of information to be learned. It's a lot of wisdom. If y'all fuck with the Electric Body, Electric Health book, we didn't even get into biofields and raising your voltage and all of those kind of things, okay? Voltage as pH and emotions as electrical health. Using our mind wisely, stories we tell ourselves, all of these kind of things, y'all. We didn't even get into all of those things yet. But I really do love y'all, and I just want y'all to take this information so we could use it to our advantage and see how we could better our life. Because like I said, everything is simply atoms and particles. Everything around you is you, and you are everything. So we want to treat everything as such, like we are reflections of everything, y'all.